Welcome to Nassau. Nestled in the 700-island archipelago that forms the Bahamas. The Bahamas boast a long and prestigious maritime history, stretching back to the 15th century, when Christopher Columbus first landed in the Bahamas in 1492 while embarking to explore the New World. It remains one of the finest areas in the world for international sailing events. Its warm and steady winds and crystal clear waters provide the perfect stage to host the 7th edition of the Star Sailors League Finals. Of the 23 teams here, 10 had qualified through the SSL global ranking system, which is comprised of 50,000 sailors from 30 different classes of boat raced internationally throughout the year of 2019. 2017 Star World Champion and Norwegian skipper Alvin Melleby comes into the regatta as the top qualifier, teaming up with his longtime crew, Josh Revkin. Making the Final Four in 2018, Melleby and Revkin will be looking to grab the top podium spot in 2019. The 2019 Star Sailors League Final truly boasts one of the most competitive fleets ever assembled. Olympic gold, silver and bronze medalists, past and current world champions, to America's Cup veterans and ocean racing legends. The Star Sailors League Finals is a unique event, pitting legends of the sport across many different classes of boat versus the hot up-and-coming young champions of recent years. Missing from the fleet is Brazilian star legend Robert Scheidt and 2018 champion George Zarif, leaving this year's event wide open. Two-time Olympic gold medalist Ian Percy and his crew, Anders Ekstrom, come into this year's event as favourites to upset the top-ranked crews.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. We've had a bit more practice this time, been here for a few days, so all our excuses that we normally throw out have gone. But the beauty here is it all starts quite slowly. It's all about qualifying, so we'll just try and learn through the first few days, try and remember how we used to do it and just have a good time, which is certainly what I've had the last few days. It's been brilliant being here with Anders. We've enjoyed every minute of it. For us, it's very much the highlight of our year, the thing we look forward to. And so I think enjoying it like that is a big part of doing well. First of all, I'm always honoured to be invited to come here, because you're right. I mean, there's so many stars of old and of the new here, and that's, to be part of that is certainly an honour. Well, last year I kind of didn't have very high expectations, and proved to be the case. And this year, I don't know, it does feel a little bit better. I think we're a little bit more focused. Yeah, I think there's no reason we can't do well, but realistically, there's a lot of guys who are more trained, a bit more sharp and faster. But I guess with this format, we keep working through the week, and I think we've got a chance to see how it goes.
There's no group of better sailors than you find at the Star Sailors League, and really fortunate to be involved. And I think there's some very innovative elements to it, like the qualification series and then the knockout series on Saturday. I think that's an extremely compelling way to deliver our sport. And frankly, it's the only regatta in the world that does it. So, collecting sailors from various classes and even disciplines within the sport here. Taylor Canfield is a multi-time match race world champion. This is the melting pot of the best sailors in the world. Really, at least 10, if not all, could win the event.
The Star Sailors League Finals runs a groundbreaking format developed by the sailors. 4 days of fleet racing determine the top 10 qualifiers, making the cut for the final rounds of competition. The top qualifier gets an automatic bye into the last race. Second place guarantees a semi-final spot, leaving the final 8 to do battle in the quarterfinals in elimination-style racing until only 4 are left to do battle in the final race for the podium. The winner takes home the lion's share of a $200,000 prize pot. It's all or nothing racing. Big risks provide big rewards, but ultimately, the calm, cool and consistent will prevail. Sailing commentator Helen Bulkley brings us all the action from the opening day of racing in Nassau for the 2019 Star Sailors League Finals.
The fleet docked out from Nassau Yacht Club in idyllic conditions for day one of the regatta. With 12 to 15 knots of wind, the 23 teams lined up for race one. Tonci Stebanovic and Tudor Bilic grabbed an early advantage starting at the pin end of the line. Jostling up the first beat, the advantage soon went to Diego Negri and 2017 SSL Finals winner Fritjof Klein taking the right-hand side of the course and leading at the first mark. The Italian-German duo consolidated their lead, sailing near perfect upwind and downwind legs to claim the top spot in race one. Meanwhile, a photo finish for second saw Melleby and Revkin just pipped by the Polish-Brazilian duo of Kaznirovic and Prada. With the breeze building slightly, race two got underway in champagne conditions. The Spanish duo of Chuni and Vasco battled hard for the pin end of the start with Percy and Ekstrom. The double Olympic gold medalist Percy and crew Ekstrom soon found their space and sailed away to an early advantage in leg one. A three-way battle saw the top three neck and neck as they approached the top mark for the last time. Percy and Ekstrom seemingly had the race in their grips when a late charge from the Kiwi and Brazilian duo of Pepper and Truche saw them snatch the lead from Percy and Ekstrom right on the line, claiming race two. Third place went to the Spanish duo of Chuni and Vasco, just ahead of Melleby and Revkin. Sitting at the top of the leaderboard after day one is Ivan Melleby and Josh Revkin, 1 point ahead of Diego Negri and Fritjof Klein, with the fleet's youngest team of Oskari Muhinen and Vitali Kuzhnir rounding off the top three.
It was pretty tricky winds today, shifty and gusty, and I sort of liked the conditions, so the upwinds and tactics were working really well. Bit struggled on the downwinds, but it's getting better.
Being the overnight leader the first day is not that much. We still have a lot of racing going, but it's nice to have a confirmation that you're on the pace and you're doing things right.
We were in the top 5, I think, at the top, and Pedro called to go straight on the run, and I agreed with that, and we went around and got in a good lane and good pressure, and just kind of fell into place for us a little bit today in that last run. So we're pleased and we'll take it.
With fantastic conditions set for the week, the crews are more than warmed up for the action to come. Swedish star legend Freddie Loof and his crew Brian Fatih look to continue their form, bagging 2 top 10 finishes in race 1 and 2, putting them in 4th overall in the standings.
4th time here. It's nice to be here. It's the place, no? No, Brian is good. I mean, he won this regatta 2 times with Mark. His legendary star crew. So Fred's pretty good. The boat goes well, so it's going to be fun.
Steady and moderate winds around 18 knots filled Montague Bay. The crews would enter a battle of attrition with a full program of up to 3 races scheduled for the second day of racing. We cross over to Helen Bulkley for the day's action.
Race 3 got underway in very fresh conditions as the crews battled up the first beat. Kaznirovic and Prada took the lead at Mark 1 and held back the chasing pack on the downwind leg. However, they were usurped by the Italian and German duo Negri and Clean, who had their afterburners on, storming the remaining legs to take the win ahead of Rohart and Ponso. Kaznirovic and Prada stole back third on the line for the chasing pack. Race 4 got underway in slightly lighter conditions, the local team of Haloesco and Berger grabbing a great start at the pin. Early on in the first beat, the advantage went to Percy and Ekstrom, who had to hold back the onslaught of attacks from Negri and Clean to claim Race 4. Negri and Clean claimed second, while Pepper and Trush, after a DNF in Race 3, fought hard to take a third in Race 4. Winds built slightly as the fleet lined up for Race 5. The Croatian duo of Stepanovic and Belic took the pin with the fleet stacked up on their hips. Kaznirovic and Prada took an early advantage, but again Negri and Clean in phenomenal form led at Mark 1. Out of nowhere, American duo of Kayard and Trinta stole a march on the fleet, leading at Mark 2, forcing Negri and Clean to the left side. Kayard and Trinta held off the chasing pack to take Race 5. Kaznirovic and Prada took second, while the young duo of Chiavarini and Weisse snatched third from Negri and Clean on the line. Leading after the second day of racing is Negri and Clean on 8 points. Kaznirovic and Prada sit in second on 17 points, while Kayard and Trinta round off the podium in third on 19 points.
It's working well because I'm in fire, I'm focused. We go one by one. It's very difficult, this course is shifting 20 degrees one side to the other. I'm starting on the committee boat and try to be free to tack if we are on a header or hold if I'm on a lift. And then from that on I just play the mark and try to go as a shorter course as possible to the mark. I make it easy and it works.
We had a big gust and I just literally such an old pune nowadays. I couldn't pull the main on and we did a Chinese jibe, which is a first for me and a start. Anders went for a swim, but he managed to hold on. But yeah, good to bounce back, win a race, we were pleased with that.
With the low pressure front leaving the Bahamas, light and shifty conditions would fill the racecourse, making it critical for the teams to get good starts on day 3. With 3 races scheduled, this was a chance for the teams sitting mid-pack to make a charge into the top 10.
After 2 general recalls to get race 6 underway, Diego Negri and Fritjof Clean fell victim to the U flag getting black flagged from race 6. Australian Torvar Mirsky and Robert O'Leary, sailing a great first beat, led the fleet at Mark 1. Storming downwind, Haddad and Boning from Brazil took the lead at Mark 2, battling hard upwind with American duo Doyle and Infelice. The battle continued all the way to the finish, with the Americans taking the win from the Brazilian duo, with Chiavarini and Weiss snatching third. Race 7 got underway with the Uruguayan team nipping in at the pin end of the line for a great start. Once again, the Australian and Irish duo of Mirsky and O'Leary led at Mark 1. Fighting hard for the remaining legs to not relinquish their lead, Mirsky and O'Leary grabbed a well-deserved win. Kaznirovic and Prada, sailing a great upwind before, sailed on to take second place, with Chiavarini and Weiss taking third once again. Race 8 got underway and the early advantage went to Paul Kayard and Phil Trinta. At the top mark, it was deja vu all over again, with Mirsky and O'Leary leading the fleet. Defending hard downwind, the Aussie and Irish duo split marks at the bottom to hunt down the middle of course. The Kiwi-Brazilian duo of Pepper and Trush, who sailed the right-hand side of the upwind, would soon take the lead at the final top mark and go on to win race 8. Percy and Ekstrom took second, with the French duo Rohart and Ponson taking third.
Yeah, day 3 for us was spectacular. We're leading at every first mark in the 3 races. You know, managed to get a 6-1-4 scoreline, which is just, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Today we did a really good day. We were really aggressive on our plan, to keep defending on the right side of the course. And I think we did well, and we did the right choice.
And, we went out guns blazing and had a great day playing the shifts again and some really good downwinds, and got out of trouble a few times, and very happy.
With the action heating up on the water, for several teams it would be make or break to qualify for the finals. Helen Bulkley brings us the highlights from the penultimate day of racing in the Bahamas for the 2019 Star Sailors League Finals.
All eyes will be focused on the leaderboard cut-off on day 4, with only the top 10 teams qualifying for Super Saturday. Points becoming increasingly precious and mistakes undoubtedly resulting in an early exit from the competition. Light and fickle conditions had the teams lining up for the start of race 9. Kaznirovic and Prada pulling the trigger too early at the pin became OCS and disqualifying themselves from race 9. With a big shift to the left side, Brazilian duo Haddad and Boning took Mark 1 with a big lead over second-placed Chiavarini and Weiss, with Kayard chasing in third. Haddad and Boning continued to sail away from the fleet to take race 9. The young guns Chiavarini and Weiss took second, with Kayard and Trinta rounding off the podium in third. The teams jostled and pushed hard at the start of race 10. Percy and Ekstrom struggled, getting pushed out the back at the boat end. Bouncing back from their OCS, Kaznirovic and Prada had their afterburners on, leading at the first mark and continuing to extend their lead the whole way round. Pausing to wave at the drone, the Polish and Brazilian pair went on to take race 10. Negri and Clean claimed second, with Melleby and Revkin taking third. The race committee soon announced the conditions for race 11. The final race of qualification would not be raced due to conditions deteriorating too much. The news of race 11 being cancelled hit Australian-Irish duo of Mursky and O'Leary hard, as they were the only team to drop out of the top 10 on the final day of qualification, having started the day in 9th place. Finishing in 11th overall, Kiwi helm Pepper and his Brazilian crew Truche were 8 points adrift of that sought-after 10th spot. The news that there was no race 11 was hugely disappointing for the teams so close to the top 10 cutoff, who would have hoped to have had one last roll of the dice. Kaznirovic and Prada took the top spot in the qualification, booking themselves a place in the final 4. Negri and Clean claimed their spot in the semi-finals. Sitting in 10th, taking the final qualification spot, was American duo of Doyle and Infelice.
It was nice to sneak in as the last spot. It was kind of hard to keep an eye on everybody, but we knew who we were close with, and we had a pretty nice first race, and the boat was going well. Tomorrow we got to keep up in our game and sailing better and do our thing like we know we can do.
I'm really happy. It's unbelievable. I didn't expect it. Maguila always said that we could fight for the top 10. I think day by day I'm getting more confidence about the boat, understanding a bit. We know that we cannot finish in the last 3. We have to check the wind, because this makes a lot of difference for us if we have light conditions or if we have medium. So let's see.
This is the first time we are winning the qualification round, and it's a good feeling. We are already in the final. We will push. The idea is to win this regatta, and we are fully on. We'll be watching also the other guys sailing quarterfinals and semifinals and tune the boat. And because we are fast, we don't want to change too much. But I think a little bit here and a little bit there will give us this is what we need for winning.
The competition now shifts to the knockout phase. 3 races remain and only 4 teams will contest the final race. With the lion's share of a $200,000 prize purse up for grabs, the pressure now turns up. Who will be crowned the 2019 SSL Finals champion?
Qualifying in the top spot is Mateusz Kaznirovic and Bruno Prada, going straight to the final 4. In second, booking their semi-final spot, is Diego Negri and Christoph Kleen. And the 8 left to fight it out in the quarterfinals are Chiavarini and Weiss. Melleby and Revkin. Kayard and Trinta. Percy and Ekstrom. Haddad and Boning. Mulhonen and Kushner. Rohat and Polson, and Eric Doyle and Payson and Felice. Light and shifty conditions in Montague Bay would undoubtedly challenge the final 10 teams for what's been dubbed as Super Saturday. Helen Bulkley brings us all the drama from the final day of racing here in the Bahamas for the Star Sailors League Finals.
With over half the fleet eliminated, the top 10 teams docked out for the final phase of racing. With a $200,000 prize purse now up for grabs, the sailors had their eyes set on the trophy and their chance to battle for the 2019 SSL Finals title. The quarterfinals got underway with Henrik Haddad and Henry Boning grabbing a great start at the pin. However, taking the right-hand side of the upwind, Chiavarini and Weiss with Rohat and Ponso battled hard for the lead at Mark 1. Chiavarini and Weiss continued to extend their lead on the downwind, leading at the bottom mark. Rounding close together, Percy and Ekstrom ended up copping a penalty, not giving Mahonen and Kushner enough room at the mark. The Brazilian duo soon felt the pressure, losing the all-important 5th spot to Percy and Ekstrom. Chiavarini and Weiss sailed away to win the quarterfinals, booking a spot in the semis. Also joining them was Rohat and Ponso and Percy and Ekstrom. Sneaking the final spot was Haddad and Boning right on the line. 8 then became 6, with Negri and Clean now ready to fire in the semi-finals. Haddad and Boning ended up being caught OCS by the veteran Percy and Ekstrom on the start. With the right side paying big, Rohat and Ponso cashed in big, leading a long way at Mark 1, and sailed away with no pressure to grab a big win and spot in the finals. Behind them, the battle resumed for the last 2 spots in the finals. Melody and Revkin battled hard with Chiavarini and Weiss to take second, and with a huge downwind leg, Percy and Ekstrom booked the last spot in the finals. The final 4 now remained, all previous and current Star World champions. Lining up for the start, Percy and Ekstrom bagged the pin end and punched out to an early advantage. At the top, however, it was Melody and Revkin in the lead at Mark 1, with Rohat and Ponso chasing in second. At the bottom mark, Melody and Revkin held a slim lead, but chased hard by Rohat and Ponso, Percy and Ekstrom. The 3 teams jockeyed hard around the remaining legs. Coming down to the finish, it was neck and neck. There was no more than a metre between the 3 boats. The lead trio were pumping frantically, each duo desperate to edge their bow over the line ahead. Crossing almost simultaneously, it was too close to call the winner. The teams were looking around for an answer, unsure as to who had triumphed. Then came the decision from the race committee. Olympic legends Percy and Ekstrom were the 2019 stars of the sailing world.
Well, actually, we had no idea. So we're moping it for a while, and then when someone told us, and it was all good. It's fantastic to win, especially with Ian, and especially in this boat. Considering the history of it and what they, all the success they had, and it's super special.
It was really exciting. I mean, it must have been 3 boats within a metre, and that's what it's all about here. Brilliant. In the conditions like today, it really helps when you're good friends and you just you take the rough with the smooth and you just keep plugging, and then sometimes it works out like it did for us today. Overall, fantastic, brilliant place to be at this time of year, and such a fantastic event. Such a nice warm feel to it.
It was a hard-fought victory for Ian Percy and Anders Ekstrom, showing the world how to deliver under pressure in a fleet of the world's best sailors. Second place went to Rohat and Polson, while Melody and Revkin took third. It has been an unforgettable week full of great sporting action here in Nassau. Thank you for joining us.